I do with this thing? Hold on.
Well, there's one way to make things happen, and that's something we just accomplished here tonight in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin. Some technical difficulties, but we're live here. USM Wildcats and the Notre Dame Tritons. Cam McGuire here this evening, proud to bring you tonight's contest. As looks like we're going to have a penalty call against the Wildcats. As we get things sorted out. Like we said, thanks for joining us here. We're just about a minute or so gone by in the first period. Some Wi-Fi issues and then some finding of cords that we didn't know we had and making things happen. But like we said, the Wildcats going short-handed as Michael Kennedy will sit 2 minutes. We'll await the call. Notre Dame on the power play. Here's Brennan Poshak, who will quarterback at the top. Sends it over to the left side to Michael McEntee. USM out with Ethan Mann, Michael Vogel, Ben Malosi, and Kyler Ringgold. So it's 2 minutes cross-checking to Kennedy, 1:06 into the opening period. Here's number 20, Michael McEntee. McEntee up to the left point. Here to Brendan Gerber. Now back to Bill, now to Poshak. Poshak cross ice, missing the net on a wide open one was Brendan Gruber. As Gruber got the feed from Poshak and had daylight, but sent it just wide. Minute 12 left in the power play here for Notre Dame. Here's Bill, his shot saved by Schrader. Wildcats can't clear. Hunter Bill will go for a change. So it is 4-on-4 in the zone right now, but coming to the ice is Max McNeil. Same four killers out for the Wildcats. Puck sent behind the goal line. Vogel pinning up Gruber on the backboards, but Notre Dame controlling the puck. Glove save made by Schrader. Dropped it down, and Malosi gets the clear, sending it the length of the ice. And the Wildcats able to swap out personnel. Just 34 seconds left in the 2-minute cross-check call to Michael Kennedy. Here come the Tritons back in the offensive end. It's Nick Voss, and now a shot sent just wide. As Ethan Tomes, Noah Egbali, Garrett Cox, and Charlie Keogh out for USM. Travis Pokel keeps it alive in the attacking end for Notre Dame. Here's Max McNeil far side. Lifts one just high, and it will wedge its way out to the neutral zone. Just 5 seconds left in the penalty to Kennedy as he's up on his feet in the box. And we're now at full strength. The Wildcats 1 for 1 on the shorthanded here tonight, but USM ices the puck. 13:44 to go in the opening period. If you're just joining us here, thanks for tuning in. As the Wildcats riding a 6-game winning streak into tonight's contest with an overall record of 12-1 as they sit 4th in the state rankings. And it's Notre Dame who's 2nd in the rankings with a record of 10-2. Both teams in action yesterday. For the Wildcats, a 2-1 win over Waukesha. Notre Dame looking to rebound after a 6-0 loss on home ice to Fond du Lac Springs. Wildcats break out of their own end, out with the forward line of Reed Woods, Marcus Thundercloud, and Kyler Ringgold. Michael Vogel and Michael Kennedy patrol the back end. Here's Kyler Ringgold. Turnaround shot, save made as the rebound was loose in front. Woods couldn't corral it. Xander Roberts makes his first save of the night. Now Ringgold out to the top of the left circle to Vogel. Forehand shot ricochets just wide. Scooped up by Ringgold. He went for the wraparound. Roberts somehow kept it out of the net. And we've seen the best shift of the night from the Wildcats. Couple of good looks, but the senior goaltender Xander Roberts able to keep it out of the back of the cage. Face off to the blocker side of Xander Roberts, Malosi, Mann, and Egbali out up front for USM. Now it's Kehoe. He'll lug it through center. Kicks it out to the left wing side to Malosi. Now back to Kehoe. Centering feed picked off by Callan Budinger. And Budinger plays it up to Hunter Bill. Bill off the skate of Cox. Now Cox controls through center. Gets across the red line, sends it in on net. Mann arrives at the scene for USM. His pass intended out to the left point was picked off by Poshak and back through center. Bill will wedge it on into the near corner. And it's back out to the neutral zone, calmed down by freshman defenseman Bryce Dahl. Dahl back on his heels as Mann is in on the forecheck, the 2-12s. Play behind the Notre Dame goal line. 11:57 left here in the opening period, and here's a look from Nick Voss, and the freshman sends it high and wide off the end glass. Cox back to retrieve it for USM in the far corner. Voss arrives at the scene. Played over to the right circle. Shot save made by the blocker of Schrader. Coming courtesy of Brendan Gruber. Cox over to his defensive partner and Michael Kennedy. Now up to Ethan Tomes. The junior carries it out through center. It's played free. Vogel trying to spin away from pressure as the Wildcats in the middle of a line change. It's McGregor, Els, and Tomes out up front. Els and Tomes, the 2 goal scorers last night. Watch out here. Here comes number 22, Quinn Kozarek. His shot, pad save made by Schrader. Kicked aside into the far corner. Tomes sends it over to senior forward Peter Els. Here's Els, right circle shot, left pad save from Xander Roberts. As we've seen back and forth action here in the opening minutes of the first period. 10:50 to go in the first, no score between the Wildcats and the Tritons. And it looks like USM's going to head on their first power play of the night. It's going to be an interference call at 6:14, going to senior defenseman Max McNeil. Vogel back to retrieve it behind his own blue line. Wildcats send out Vogel, Cox, McGregor, Ringgold, and Woods to start the power play. Cox over to McGregor. McGregor gets across the attacking line. He'll wedge it on in behind the goal line. Now it's picked up by Woods. Woods now corrals along the kick plate. Played out to the right side of the line to Cox. Cox, wrist shot, save made by Roberts, snatched away. He'll hold on for a face-off. Good shot from senior defenseman Garrett Cox. As we take a look at the replay on the glove save made by Xander Roberts. Wildcats swap out personnel, minute 26 to go on the power play. Kehoe finds Mann on the backhand. Roberts, another save. Puck is loose. Swatted out away into the far corner. Tomes, Malosi, Egbali, Mann, and Kehoe. Here's Ethan Mann behind the goal line. Finds Egbali, shoots it off the side of the cage. Mann now tripped up top of the line. That'll be a tripping call. Delayed penalty. Schrader goes off to the bench. And now Mann will settle things down behind his own blue line and gives it up to Notre Dame. So the Wildcats will head on a 5-on-3 advantage. As it'll be a 2-minute tripping call to Isaac Rentmister. Comes at 7:18 of the first. 5-on-3 for 57 seconds. Here's Charlie Kehoe. His shot sticked aside by Roberts. And Mann will settle it up at the left side of the line. Drifts to the left circle. Wrist shot blocked away by the defender Shingard as McGregor races after it on the near side half boards. Good play by the freshman to get it up to Kehoe. Now McGregor gets it back. Over to Mann, top of the left circle. Down low to Tomes. Tomes centering to Malosi. Didn't get all of it that he wanted on the one-time effort and hammered the length of the ice. 9:07 to go here in the first period. 20 seconds left on the 5-on-3. And then a minute and 4, 5-on-4. We'll see what happens here back in the offensive end. Malosi pokes it free for the Wildcats. Back out to Ethan Mann. Mann walks, sends it over to Tomes. Wrist shot blocked down. Couple of good shot blocks here from Notre Dame on the kill. We're back to 5-on-4 for a minute and 2 seconds. Here's Ethan Tomes, back for Ethan Mann. One-time effort into the stomach of Xander Roberts. And USM will swap out personnel. Woods, Ringgold, and Els up front. Vogel and Cox on the back end. Face-off won by Notre Dame. Vogel trying to hold the left side of the line. Instead, it's played back out to the neutral zone. Cox, quick pass up to the right wing side to Woods. Now it's Cox across the blue line. Banks it on into the near corner. Ringgold arrives at the scene. Met up on the board by Brendan Gruber. And Notre Dame will get the clear. 26 seconds left in the power play for the Wildcats. Cox over to Ringgold. Now it's back to Vogel behind his own blue. Quickly up to Peter Els. Els, a goal last night, now 11 on the season. Here's Vogel, right circle, finds Ringgold, went just wide. Now to Els on the near post, loose in front, and Notre Dame trying to clear. As Ringgold was on the far post, and he looked like a shot pass over to Els. Vogel gets it back. His shot blocked down. Notre Dame's back to full strength. Here comes Joe Gerbitz, the sophomore forward, shielding it away on his backhand. Pulls to the forehand, off the mask of Schrader, and it bounces just wide. Oh boy, just after Notre Dame killed off the 5-on-3. Great saves from the netminer, Jack Schrader. As back-to-back saves keep the puck out of the net. As we watch the second one right here, top of the doorstep was Joe Gerberts. And with 7:19 left in the first period, we're still scoreless. Notre Dame wins the offensive zone draw. Here's Travis Pokel, the junior defenseman, banks it on in behind the goal line. Malosi, Egbali, and Mann. And Notre Dame will just swing it over. Puck's loose in front, batted at by Schrader. Left side of the line, Pokel tries to feed it over to Michael McEntee off his skates. And Egbali applies pressure. Be an icing call here against Notre Dame. So if you're just joining us here tonight, glad to have you along for the ride here at Cornerstone Ice Arena. Cam McGuire live, a top 5 matchup. Second-ranked Notre Dame playing host to the 4th-ranked University School of Milwaukee. Offensive zone face-off won by Tomes, played up into the protective netting, and the face-off will stay in the Notre Dame end. Well, we only missed about a minute of action trying to figure out the internet situation, and once we did, it's been an exciting first period so far. Peter Els now, the near half wall, tries to send it in on target, knocked down. Here comes Nick Voss. Voss looking for his first goal of his career, the freshman forward with 7 assists in 9 games so far on the campaign. Now Vogel plays it over to Henry Stone. Up to Els. And now it's back to Vogel behind the blue line. Quick stretch pass up to Jack McGregor on his off wing. Able to sweep it along the end wall. Els, first one arriving at the scene. Too hot to handle there for Tomes, and now it's back out to center. Kehoe will settle it down. Over to Cox. Cox will gain the red line. Dump it to the far corner, where it's scooped up by Michael McEntee, the sophomore defenseman. Ringgold able to sweep it back behind the goal line. Ringgold, Woods, and Thundercloud applying pressure here on the forecheck. Cox and Kehoe patrolling the blue line. USM in their Navy road uniforms, Navy helmets, Navy pants. Notre Dame in the greens with white helmets, so easy to identify here this evening. As Cox pins up Gerbitz against the back wall, and USM is back through center. Here comes Gerbitz, cuts to the middle. His shot floated wide, and Kennedy will gather it up for USM. Kennedy now tied up on the near side half wall by the Northern Michigan commit, Brendan Poshak. And now Woods will loft it out through center. Knocked down by Ringgold. He'll skate after the loose puck as the Wildcats in the middle of a line change up front. It's taken over by Travis Pokel and back out through center. Here comes Poshak, one-on-one, pulls to the forehand. His shot off the side of the cage. As the captain looking for his 10th of the season. Kennedy now rounds it up for the Wildcats over to Egbali. Egbali, Malosi, and Mann out up front. Here's a 2-on-1. Over to Joseph Coughlin. Big save made by the right pad of Schrader. As it was Hunter Bill who found Joseph Coughlin. But Jack Schrader able to keep the game deadlocked at 0 with exactly 4 to play in the first. And here comes Notre Dame. Coughlin across the blue line. Sends it off the back glass. Cox is back to retrieve it. Quickly up the right wing side to Mann. Mann's pass intended for Egbali out of his reach. And now played back by the Notre Dame defense. Over to the right wing side. Here's Bryce Eberhardt. Junior forward skates after the captain for the Wildcats, Charlie Kehoe. Puck's free in the high slot. One-time drive save made by Schrader. As it was Quinn Kozarak with the shot for the Tritons. McGregor out through center. Able to nudge it into the offensive end. As the Wildcats had their other 4 skaters changing. And now Kennedy will bank it on into the near corner. And Els will chase after Bryce Dahl. Pass picked off by McGregor. McGregor, far side half wall, backhand shot, bounces in on net. Roberts will hold on for a face-off. 2:56 to go here in the first period. No score. Shots in favor of Notre Dame, 10-9. Thundercloud will do the honors in the face-off circle. Woods at the left wing, Ringgold at the right. Notre Dame works it in the offensive end. Poshak in on the attack. 3-on-2 battle. Numbers in favor of the Wildcats. Lofted on into the near corner. Gathered up by Hunter Bill, the Eagle River native, who played last season at Northland Pines, 42 points in 24 games as a freshman. And Marcus Thundercloud guides it up to Reed Woods. Woods across the blue line. Floats it on to Ringgold, but was picked off by the Tritons. And here comes Bill. Bill has it knocked off his stick. Woods will retrieve back in his ends. Cox over to Kehoe. Down to 2 minutes to go in the opening stanza. Charlo through center. Across the center ice logo. Plays it off the backboards as Roberts comes out to settle it down out of his cage. Egbali, Mann. And we'll see Malosi enter the ice as Notre Dame goes offside. Minute 45 to go here in the first period. Well, it's a rematch here tonight between the Wildcats and the Tritons. A rematch of last year's state semifinal where Notre Dame came out victorious 5-3 over the Wildcats. So USM remembering that one here tonight, looking for revenge. And looking to hand Notre Dame their second loss on home, which would be the first time since the 2016-2017 season. As the Tritons work it back in the offensive end. Here's Voss, turnaround shot, stick save made by Schrader, and then he lugged it into his stomach. And will squeeze the puck for a defensive zone draw. Not only did the state semi last year where the teams met, but they also met in the regular season back on January 31st, a 4-1 victory for Notre Dame. They win the offensive zone draw. Here's a shot from the point from Travis Pokel, redirected wide. Kennedy takes over for USM. Out to Egbali through center, right in front of the scorer's table. We'll play it back to Vogel. Now over to Mann, and we'll sweep it on in. Glove down by Roberts. Under a minute to go now in the first period. Still no score. Ethan Mann corralling the puck in the far corner. Works his way up the wall. Now at the top of the point. Skids off his stick. And it's back out to the neutral zone and sent on in by Kennedy. Good stick from McGregor. He's out with Els and Tomes. And here comes Max McNeil. Sends it over to Poshak. Big save made by Schrader, who's got the legs stacked, and he's able to keep it out of the net. It was McNeil who sent it over to Poshak. Had it on his backhand. Schrader made the initial stop. And then he stacked the legs and kept the rebound effort out of the cage. Face-off won by Notre Dame. It splits the defenders. Here's Els. Tries to headman pass up to McGregor, just out of his reach, as that would have been McGregor in on a breakaway. Instead, it results in a defensive zone face-off with 17.5 to go here in the opening 17 minutes of play, where the score still reads 0-0. Tomes takes the face-off for the Wildcats. And he's kicked out, so Peter Els comes in. Els wins it to the near board. That's picked up by Poshak. Good job by Tomes to knock Poshak off the puck. Here comes Mann. 6 seconds to go. Vogel will lay it in front of the Notre Dame bench. And horn will sound. 17 minutes of play complete as we skate to a 0-0 tie. Shots in favor of the home team, 13-10, as the Wildcats, with 2 power plays in the first period. Notre Dame with 1 power play, but no score through 17 minutes of play. We'll take a pause down at ice level. We'll do the same from up top, and we'll see you back for period number 2 in just a couple moments. And we welcome you back inside Cornerstone Ice Arena here in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin, as we get set and ready to go for period number 2 between the USM Wildcats and the Notre Dame Tritons. The puck is down and we're underway. Notre Dame wins the opening face-off here, controlled back through center by Max McNeil. Both teams shared their fair share of looks in the first period, and it'll be a hand pass against the Wildcats 15 seconds in to the second period. 13 saves for Jack Schrader down to our right, and 10 saves for Xander Roberts to our left. Face-off just outside of the Notre Dame blue line. Won and controlled by USM. But now it's senior defenseman Max McNeil who takes over for Notre Dame. Sends it up to Isaac Rentmister. He'll send it behind the USM goal line. Captain Charlie Kehoe back for the Wildcats, and now he looks to spark the rush. Kehoe down the right side. Has Egbali streaking to the net, but it's swept aside by Brendan Gruber. Egbali collects. Far side, out to the right side of the line to Kehoe. Over to Vogel. Wrist shot blocked down by Voss. And Voss tries to wedge it out through center. Good job by Vogel to keep it alive in the attacking end. Man deep in the near corner. Able to pull it free with his backhand. Send it to Molosi. It went off the near side post. It looked like Egbali got it back. Now the net's off its moorings. Oh boy. We'll take a look at that one, as it was Man who came out from the far side of the post right here over to Molosi. It looked like it may have hit Roberts first and then off the post. Oh, man. Offensive zone draw for the Wildcats. Minute 6 gone by in the second frame. It's Ethan Tomes, Peter Ells, and Jack McGregor. Michael Vogel, Michael Kennedy on the back ends. Pass picked off by McGregor right in front of the Wildcats bench. And now Ells races after it in the near corner. Flocked up by Callan Budinger. Budinger plays it to the attacking end. The junior down the right wing side. Slams on the Jets out to Pokel. Now to the left side to McEntee. His shot sent wide. Poshak. Saucer pass to Budinger. Hops over his stick. And now it'll be offsides against the Tritons. And the face-off will come just outside of the Wildcats' blue line. Just the 4th road game of the season for USM. It's the 2nd time here at Cornerstone Ice Arena, but it's the first time against Notre Dame. The team played Wausau West back on December 28th. And came out with a 7-0 victory. McNeil winds up in his own end for the Tritons. Good play back right below us here by senior forward Kyla Ringgold. Now the Notre Dame defensive core has to play a little give and go. And a stretch pass intended for Bryce Eberhardt out of his reach. And icing call against the Tritons. 14:46 to go in the second. Still scoreless. See Ringgold, Thundercloud, and Woods. Cox and Kehoe. As Notre Dame wins the defensive zone draw. Here's Michael McEntee, sophomore defenseman. Out through center. McEntee gets it back. The two 20s collide on the far side half wall. And now here comes Marcus Thundercloud. Thundercloud will dump it on into the offensive end. Trying to corral the puck on the near side half ball. Sends it along the backboards. Now picked up by Ringgold. Centering effort picked off, and here comes Voss for the Tritons. Right wing side, he'll float it on in. Puck bounces off the back wall. And now it's swept out to the right point. Wildcats clear it through center. They need a line change. And they'll get it right here. As Man, Egbali, and Molosi out on the bench. Puck played up into the Tritons bench. So a stoppage of play. And it looks like they'll put the face-off right at center ice. First meeting of the season between Notre Dame and USM, the only regular season meeting. Both teams have played 6 similar opponents, and both have come out with 6 wins. Stevens Point, Edgewood, Waukesha, Eau Claire Memorial, Wausau West, and Fond du Lac Springs. So Notre Dame 5-1 against those 6 similar opponents as Jack Schrader makes a glove save. We mentioned a 6-0 loss for Notre Dame on home ice against Fond du Lac Springs last night. Molosi will take the defensive zone draw for the Wildcats against Callan Budinger. Notre Dame wins it. Here's McEntee. His shot redirected in front. Schrader makes the save. Got redirected by Hunter Bill, but the shot on net came from Callan Budinger. And now USM will swap out their forward unit. Peter Ells, Jack McGregor, and Ethan Tomes. Tomes centering the line. McGregor at the left wing and Ells at the right. Notre Dame wins another faceoff. McEntee's shot from the left point. Ricochets wide. Puck's caught in the back of the net. And they'll blow it dead. And now the Wildcats will change out D. Pierce as they'll put out Kehoe and Cox. Drop the puck, please. There it is. Notre Dame keeping it alive in the offensive end. Hunter Bill plays it behind the goal line. Ells looks to shake it out through center. Instead, it's Cox back in the near corner. Cox will shovel it out to the neutral zone. Ells on the race, but an icing call against the Wildcats. 12:57 to go here in the second period. A couple more stops and starts here in the early stages of the second than we saw in the first. Back and forth action as both teams exchanged pretty good looks. Both goaltenders coming out with some crucial saves. Tomes takes the face-off once again for the Wildcats and wins it back. Kehoe wraps the puck to Ells, and Ells will chop it out to the neutral zone. Max McNeil flags it back down for Notre Dame. And now Ethan Tomes, the junior forward, collects for the Wildcats. Pass over to Ells. Ells sends it in on net, sticked aside by Roberts. Gathered up by Quinn Kozark. Vogel back to retrieve it in his own end. Plays it off the back wall to Kehoe. And now Ells picks it off. Ells skates after it in the near corner. Sweeps it to the front, blocked down by defender Bryce Dahl. And lugged back into the offensive end by Eberhardt for the Tritons. Tomes tries to swat it free through center. And now here comes Kyler Ringgold. Ringgold across the attacking line. Tried to cut his way back to the left side and got knocked off the puck by McEntee. Here comes Nick Voss. Voss back to McEntee. Shot blocked down by Mann. Woods plays it up to Mann on the near boards. Mann takes a push from McEntee, but still controls the puck. Mann across the attacking line, far corner, takes it for a skate, now centers it to Ringgold. Save made by Roberts. Mann took it from all the way on the far boards out to Ringgold in front, and Xander Roberts keeps it a scoreless hockey game. Kennedy plays it up to Woods, tapped on into the far corner. Mann tries to knife it off the stick of McEntee, but Notre Dame lugs it through center. Could have been too many men on the ice for Notre Dame, but McEntee gets off quick. Stretch pass from Vogel up to Mann at the end of the shift. Saucer pass to the far side to Woods. Woods tries to find Egbali. couldn't locate the puck in his skates. Poshak quickly up to Brendan Gruber. Now to Hunter Bill as Kehoe has his stick knocked away. Here's Max McNeil. Wrist shot zips just wide. Trying to beat Schrader on the far blocker side. McNeil gets it back. This one sent wide off the back wall. 10:26 to go here in the second period. Things starting to pick up in this middle frame. Here comes Callan Budinger. Tried to drop it back for Brendan Poshak. Instead it's collected and moved up the ice by USM's Noah Egbali. Egbali across the blue line. Tries to pull it through McNeil. Instead it skitters on into the near corner. Els retrieves. Taken over by the Tritons. Spun back up the ice by Bryce Dahl over to Brendan Poshak. Poshak across the blue line. Tries a diagonal feed for Callan Budinger. Hops over his stick. And now Els with the big hit on Poshak as Poshak was going for the change. And Els nearly dumped 13 in green into his own bench. This will be an icing call here against Notre Dame. With 9:31 to go in the second, we're still scoreless. Shot 16-14 in favor of the Tritons. And it'll be Tomes, Ringgold, and McGregor out up front. Tomes wins the faceoff to the near half wall to McGregor, who spins it on into the far corner. Ringgold in on the attack. Vogel and Kennedy patrol the blue line. McGregor, great pass to Tomes. It sends just wide. It's the second time tonight that Roberts has knocked the net off his moorings. So we take a quick look at the replay. We'll keep an eye on that. Tomes wins it forward. Now delivers the hit on Travis Pokel. Puck squirted free right into the blocker of Roberts. And he'll elect for the faceoff. Tomes will take it. McGregor lined up behind his left shoulder. Said it's the Tritons who win the draw and look to clear. Notre Dame on the move through center. Picked off by USM right in front of their bench. Now an offside call against the Wildcats. And it looks like the faceoff will come just in front of their bench. Malosi, Egbali, Mann, Stone, and Cox as Malosi takes the draw against Gruber. Gruber wins it back. And now Stone will smash it on in behind the goal line. Over to Mann. His shot scores! Ethan Mann breaks the ice, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Wildcats off the feed from Ben Malosi as he zips it right over the glove of Xander Roberts. That started with the play right there of Henry Stone to smash it on into the zone. And at 8:08 of the second period, Ethan Mann has the Wildcats on the board. The man from Malosi and Stone. And the restart back at center. What a shot from number 12 in Navy as the puck trickles on in. And a save made by Schrader. Mann's 7th goal of the year, his 19th point of his senior campaign. And Malosi and Stone, the helpers. Mann wins the faceoff forward. Shot ricochets wide. Now the net knocked off its moorings. And USM will change out their defensive core. So it was man from Melosi. I'd imagine Stone would pick up a helper on that as well. Now it's played by Poshak. Poshak has it taken off his stick by Mann, and it's back out through center. Vogel skating after Poshak behind the goal line. Now the puck squirts free behind the Notre Dame blue line. Puck played in front of the scorer's table. And calmed down by Michael McEntee. Picked up by Poshak. We mentioned the Northern Michigan commit, Ethan Mann, the Wisconsin commit. So the Badgers picked up a big 3-1 win earlier today over the undefeated Minnesota Golden Gophers. And an icing call against the Wildcats. I believe Minnesota was 10-0 going into tonight's contest over in Madison. Teams will be back at it tomorrow for a 4 o'clock face-off. And now Marcus Thundercloud takes the draw for the Wildcats. Ringgold chops at the length of the ice. Icing waved off as Roberts comes out of his cage to play it. Ringgold, Mann, and Thundercloud, Stone, and Kehoe. Puck played right in front of the Notre Dame bench. Trying to jolt it free was Quinn Kozarek. And here's Kozarek. Shot save made by Schrader. Boy, Jack Schrader looks confident in between the pipes tonight as he comes right out at the top of the crease. As we see right about here, and will make the save. Man, defensive zone draw for USM. Tomes, McGregor, and Els, the forward unit on. McGregor swats it free. Els after it, but an icing call against the Wildcats. 7:18 to go in the middle frame. 1-0 lead. Next to Mann's 7th of the year. Coming at 8:08 of the period. Tomes wins the face-off back, scooped up by Charlie Kehoe. Takes a weird carom off the half wall and kept alive in the attacking end for the Tritons. Voss will spin it on in behind the goal line. Over to Brendan Gruber. And now up into the stomach. Voss lifted it into the crest of Schrader's jersey. And another offensive zone face-off here for Notre Dame as the Wildcats send out the line of Ben Melosi, Noah Egbali, and Ethan Mann. Face-off blocker side of Schrader. Mann wins it back. Rounded up by Vogel. Over to the left wing side to Egbali. Now it's knife-free Notre Dame. Plays with transition. Poshak chips it on into the near corner. Budinger arrives on the attack. And Vogel able to upend Budinger. And Vogel plays it high off the glass. Here's Egbali up to Mann. Mann buying some time. Saucer pass trying to find Egbali. Racing down the high slot. Able to meet the puck on the far half wall. Egbali trying to free it up off the stick of Travis Pokel. And now Pokel drops it back for Michael McEntee. Egbali not allowing McEntee to get anything on it. And now it's sent the length of the ice. That'll be an icing against Notre Dame. 6:04 to go here in the second period. Shots in favor of Notre Dame, 20-16, but it's a 1-0 lead for USM over the Tritons. Wildcats send out Tomes, Ringgold, and Woods. Notre Dame wins the draw and they control through center. Here's the freshman forward, Joseph Coughlin. Coughlin has his pocket picked by Garrett Cox, but holding the left side of the line was Bryce Dahl. And now a hand pass against USM. Face off to come back in their end. Tomes will take the draw for the Wildcats. Junior forward wins it to the right wing side. Cox now with it on his backhand, feeds it up to Ringgold. Ringgold to Woods. Here's Reed Woods in alone on a breakaway, trying to settle it down. Pulled it backhand, forehand, and Xander Roberts able to make the save. Woods had to control that bobbling puck. And a great feed from Ringgold up to Woods, who split the defenders. And that thing was jumping around like a hot potato. 5:34 to go here in the second. Thundercloud to take the draw. Woods and Ringgold lined up at the wings. Notre Dame looks to play it through center. There's senior defenseman Michael Vogel, who's pushed up against the near boards. 3-on-2 battle. Wildcats come out with the puck. Marcus Thundercloud chips it up to Reed Woods, who will smash it on in and go for a change. Ringgold picks off the pass from Roberts, then takes a spill. Stretch pass up to Isaac Rentmeester. Notre Dame looking to push the pace. Rentmeester, save made by Schrader as Rentmeester fed it to Gruber. Now the net knocked off. It's Pegs. And with 4:58 to go here in the second, see another defensive zone faceoff for the Wildcats. Tomes will take it against Budinger. Tomes, McGregor, and Els, Cox, and Kehoe. Here's a quick shot from Bill into the shin pads of Els. Tomes trying to scoop it free through center. Instead, it's Poshak here. Poshak behind the goal line takes a check from Kehoe. Delayed penalty call against the Wildcats. Kehoe gets the gate, 2 minutes for tripping. So at 12:17 of the second, Kehoe will get the gate. And the Wildcats go short-handed for the second time tonight. Malosi, Ringgold, and Mann, so 3 forwards, 1 defenseman. Michael Vogel, the lone defenseman. Mann breaks it free. Mann racing after the loose puck. Roberts comes out to play it. Kind of fumbled it for a second. Mann couldn't locate it. Picked up by Ringgold. It was kind of one of those ones where you didn't know if Roberts was going to come out and play it, and kind of bid on the last second that he was going to play it. Malosi and Ringgold tied up at the center ice logo, trying to wiggle it free. Said it's taken over by Travis Pokel. Rentmeester spins away from pressure. Here's McNeil's shot. Not sure if it made its way to Schrader or if it was blocked down by the screen in front from Bryce Eberhardt. Regardless, it's out to the left point. Another penalty against USM to come, as Mann with the big shot block. And it's going to be head contact to Wildcats number 25, Ben Malosi. So Notre Dame goes on the 5-on-3 advantage with 3:50 remaining here in the second period. Tomes, Mann, and Vogel looking to kill it off. Face-off won by Notre Dame. Here's Bill. And this time, the net comes off its moorings behind Schrader. Tomes battles with Budinger in the circle. Puck tied up, freed up by Notre Dame. Here's Brennan Poshak. Poshak over the top of the left circle to McEntee. Back to Poshak. Poshak down low to Budinger. Back to Poshak. Now it's McEntee. McEntee and Poshak switch. McEntee over to Bill. Now it's Poshak waiting. Budinger. And net knocked off once again. And it was Schrader who was just sliding from the right to the left post. And we've seen it a couple of times tonight from both goaltenders. I'm not sure if they're playing with pegs tonight or what they've got going on, but those nets are moving like crazy. What in the world? All right, so still 5-on-3 for another 37 seconds. A minute 30 left on the Molosi penalty as well. Notre Dame looking for the equalizer. Poshak top of the right circle. Down low to Budinger. Captain to captain. Now over to McEntee. McEntee and Poshak switch once again. McEntee over to Gruber, and that one rung off the post. This one played up into the stands. As Notre Dame, you can see right here, they're working that switch with McEntee and Poshak, and they're trying to get the Wildcats to bite that McEntee's going to give it back to Poshak. Instead, it was back to Brendan Gruber. So USM not fooled by the switch, but we'll see another defensive zone face-off. They swap out penalty killers. Egbali, Ringgold, and Cox now out. Kehoe up on his feet, 5-on-4 for 51 seconds. Kehoe will go out onto the ice. Here's a shot from the point. Save made by Schrader, swept aside by Egbali. And now Pokel will walk the line. Leaves it for McNeil. Diagonal feed over to Rentmister. His shot blocked down by Ringgold, sent wide. Cox will tie it up along the kick plate behind the cage. Kehoe able to free it through center. 2:12 to go here in the second period. 20 seconds left on the Molosi penalty, and Notre Dame will go offside. Face-off just outside of the Wildcats' blue line. Senior Noah Egbali will take it, won by the Tritons. Here comes Hunter Bill. Bill slams on the Jets. Over to Michael McEntee. McEntee walks down the far side boards, back up top to Poshak. Poshak, wrist shot blocked down by the stick of Egbali. Poshak gets it back. Malosi's out of the box. Wildcats kill it off. Big shot block from Ringgold. Back out through center. So USM able to kill off the 5-on-3. 3 for 3 on the kill tonight. It's Notre Dame attacking once again. Budinger tried to spin it back to Bill. Notre Dame was in the middle of a line change. So now it's back out into the Notre Dame end. Egbali, Mann, and Molosi out up front. Egbali forces a turnover, trying to find Molosi high slot. It was off the skate of Michael McEntee in front. 2-on-2 battle in the far corner. Now Mann arrives at the scene, pulls the puck free, takes a hit, and Hunter Bill will collect and move up ice. Over to Poshak. His shot safe made by Schrader, and he'll hold on for a face-off. .63 seconds to go in the second stanza. Mann against Gruber in the circle. Gruber wins it for Notre Dame. Good stick from Michael Vogel. And it's Rentmister who still controls on the far side board. 6'3", 384 pounds. Collected up by Mann. Tries to slide it through the legs of McNeil. Mann in the far corner, pushed up by McNeil. Wildcats still with it in the offensive end, battling for it right in front of the bench. Now it's nudged out through center. As Cox trying to send it on deep. Hit Tomes, who was knocked down on the ice. Now Tomes battling in the right circle. Tomes, Woods, and Mann out up front. 26 seconds to go. Here comes Nick Voss. That's offside against Notre Dame. And face-off just outside the USM blue line with 23 seconds to go. Tomes wins the draw. Kehoe controls. Back for Cox. Cox quickly up to Els, who chips it on in. 14 seconds to go. See if the Wildcats can get one last rush here. Sets back out through center. Delayed offside. Down to 5. Pokel trying to get free from McGregor. And the horn will sound. 2 periods of play in the books. And an even strength goal from Ethan Mann at 8:08 of the second period. Has the Wildcats on top 1-0. The assist going to Ben Malosi. The teams will head to the locker rooms for the resurfacing of the ice. We'll take a timeout as well up top, and we'll see you when we return for period number 3 coming up next. We welcome you back inside Cornerstone Ice Arena here in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin, where the USM Wildcats have a 1-0 lead over the Notre Dame Tritons through 2 periods of play. Cam McGuire with you here tonight. If you're just joining us, there was a second period goal from Ethan Mann at 8:08 of the middle frame, proving to be the difference so far. Puck is down and we're underway for our final period. Here comes Ethan Tomes across the attacking line. Dragged up on the play, delayed penalty call. It was Max McNeil who dragged up Tomes. Imagine it'd be a tripping call. Here it is, and it's going to be a hook. So the Wildcats will head on the early power play, just 20 seconds. Into the final period. Second penalty of the night going to number 2, Max McNeil. Third power play here for USM, looking to capitalize and make it a 2-goal advantage. Charlie Kehoe right side of the line. Plays it down low to Mann. Mann with Egbali, Molosi, and Tomes. Kehoe the lone defenseman. Egbali and Mann play a little give and go. Egbali near side half boards, down low to Mann. Drifting behind the net. Molosi at the top of the blue paint. Now Mann turns around. That one's sent just high up into the protective netting. Face-off will come just outside of the Notre Dame line. 1:28 left in this power play for the Wildcats. They'll keep out the same personnel, as Kehoe will leave it for Mann. Mann will circle things up behind his own blue line. Racing down the right wing side. Right circle. Sends it out to Egbali, who is the inner hash marks there. But it was Tomes who had to collect at the left point. Mann in the far corner. Back for Tomes. Now up top to Kehoe. Wrist shot, redirected. Save made by Xander Roberts. And now Tomes slaps it back for Mann. Mann trying to connect with Egbali. Instead it sent the length of the ice by junior forward Bryce Ederhart. Quick stretch pass up to Mann. Now Egbali tied up on the play with Brennan Poshak. The two meet in the corner. Egbali comes out with the puck. Now to Vogel. Top of the left circle to Cox. 25 seconds left here in the man advantage. Mann still behind the cage. Els attacks the net now. Mann trying to find Els. And it split right through the senior forward. Egbali collects. Trying to find Els below the right circle. Was knocked off the Notre Dame player's skate. And now flocked up by Els. Drops back for Mann. Back to full strength, the Tritons are. So no power play goals here tonight for either team. Vogel's long-range shot gloved down by Roberts as Egbali was providing the screen in front. Wildcats send out the line of Marcus Thundercloud Reed Woods and Kyler Ringgold. Michael Kennedy and Michael Vogel on the blue line. Nick Voss corrals it, far side half boards for Notre Dame. And it's wedged out through center. Taken on by Brendan Gruber. And now Gruber races after the loose puck, but Ringgold will backhand it to the far side. Voss able to slap it back into the offensive end for Notre Dame. But the Tritons have to touch up an icing call here against the Wildcats. 3:03 gone by in the final period. Mann's goal at 8:08 of the second period, his 7th of the year, point number 19. Ben Molosi, the helper. Face-off glove side of Schrader. Won by Notre Dame. High slot. Here's a shot from Quinn Kozark and a big block from Garrett Cox. Lifted out through center by Els. McGregor, nifty move. Gets it over to Tomes. Turnaround shot off the post. McGregor follows it up and he scores. 2-0 lead, Wildcats. Oh boy. McGregor, who started it with the nifty move. Then it was Tomes. You see there, backhand shot went right off the post. And McGregor was there to slam home the rebound. Here at 3:20 of the third period. McGregor's 7th of the year. We'll see who they award the assist to from the public address announcer directly across from us. As we play on here, here's the announcement. So Tomes the lone assist. 2-0 lead for USM. Els now out to the point, and it was Cox, I believe, Els who lifted it out to the neutral zone, which started the play, and then McGregor the nifty move. And here's one by Mann, pulls it back to the forehand, over to Igbali, zips it just wide off the end glass. Igbali looking to go far side on Roberts. Mann re-corrals, trying to find Malosi in the left circle. Wildcats applying pressure here in the opening minutes of the third. They've increased their lead to 2. Mann, nifty toe pull, over to Igbali, shoots off the side of the cage. Roberts may have gotten his right leg on it. Oh man, and here's Vogel. Down low to Mann. Mann in the far corner. And now a battle as Notre Dame comes out with the puck. Kennedy comes down from the right point. Here comes Isaac Rentmister up for Brennan Poshak. Poshak, wrist shot, glove saved by Schrader, and he'll hold on for the face-off. Face-off, blocker side of Schrader. Here comes Kennedy, plays it out to the wall to Ringgold. Notre Dame with it in the attacking end down to our left. Ringgold, Woods, Tomes, Cox, and Kehoe. As Tomes races after the loose puck, back to retrieve it is Travis Pokel. And now here comes Notre Dame. And an offside call against the Tritons. Exactly 11 minutes to go here in the third period. McGregor at 3:20 from Tomes. And it's a 2-0 lead. Face-off just outside of the Wildcats' blue line. Malosi, McGregor, and Els up front. Kennedy and Vogel on the back ends. Puck lifted out of play. They'll rule the face-off just outside of the Notre Dame end. So McGregor and Mann now each with 6 goals on the campaign. 7 goals on the campaign. Played right in front of the scorer's table. Notre Dame trying to free it up. And a stoppage in play. Delayed penalty. It's going to go against Notre Dame. It's going to be an interference call against number 2. That's Max McNeil, who's building a nest in that penalty box with his 3rd of the night. Wildcats back to work for 4th power play of the night. Mann wins it back to Tomes. Now the right side of the line to Kehoe. His wrist shot into the breadbasket of Roberts. We'll see Tomes, Kehoe, Mann, Malosi, and Egbali trying to increase the lead to 3. Early jump there in the circle. Mann will get the gate. Malosi takes the drop. Tied up in the near corner. Malosi frees it for Mann. Over to Egbali. Now Kehoe walks the line. Back to Egbali. Egbali, wrist shot into the shin guards of Michael McEntee. Gets it back. Back down low to Mann. Saucer pass to Egbali out of his reach. And Kehoe back to retrieve it in his own end. He'll set up shop behind Jack Schrader, who's made 25 stops tonight. And now Mann down the right wing side. Rims it along the end boards. Out to Malosi. Cleared the length of the ice by Bryce Eberhardt. 64 seconds left here on the 2-minute interference call to Notre Dame's Max McNeil. And here comes Tomes with a lot of speed down the right side. Bumps it up to Kehoe. Back to Tomes. Tomes now to Mann. Mann with it, trying to find Malosi on the far post. It was broken up by Bryce Dahl. Mann gets it back behind the goal line. Out to Tomes. Wrist shot. Fought off by the blocker of Xander Roberts. Up in the protective netting. 9:09 to go here in the final period. 37 seconds left on the power play for the Wildcats. So it was the Wisconsin Badgers commit Ethan Mann at 8:08 of the second period. And that was Jack McGregor at 3:20 of the third. That's how we're at 2-0. McGregor on the far side half wall, bends it behind the goal line to Ringgold. Ringgold trying to free it off the skates of George Wide. Reed Woods pokes it free. Over to McGregor. Back to the point to Vogel. Right side of the line to Cox. Walking down. His wrist shot save made by Roberts as Woods was providing the screen just off the near side of the trapezoid. Woods gets it back. Far side half wall. Spins it down low to McGregor. 6 seconds left on the power play. Back down low to Woods. Up top to Vogel. Now back to Woods. McNeil's out of the box as Notre Dame's back to even strength. Cox unloads a drive into the stomach of McEntee. Notre Dame looks to transition through center. Good job by Kyler Ringgold to not allow Poshak to get the opportunity here. And now here comes Hunter Bill. Good check from Ringgold right in front of the penalty box. Now here goes Poshak, the Northern Michigan commit. Poshak around the defender, forehand shot, right leg save from Schrader, the second effort. And back-to-back saves from Jack Schrader. And a face-off will come back in the USM end. Face-off blocker side of Schrader. Is a shot from Pokel, snatched away by Schrader. Boy, that one came quickly off the stick of number 8 in green. Kehoe in the far corner, zips it along to the near wall to Mann. Mann floats it back out to center. And now here's Noah Egbali behind his own blue. Up to Kennedy. Now Malosi racing after the loose puck. Malosi, Egbali, and Mann. Kennedy and Stone. Kennedy bumps it back for Mann. Mann fans on the diagonal feed. Here's Nick Voss. Voss shoots. Stick save made by Schrader. Mann's without his stick. Trying to kick it free. And now Kennedy will guide it the length of the ice. Icing call against USM. 7:04 to go here in the third period. Tomes, Els, and the most recent goal scorer, Jack McGregor, out up front. Michael Vogel and Henry Stone patrolling the blue line. McGregor able to knife it out through center. Settles it down now and guides it over to the right side to Stone. Gets across center red. And they're going to call an icing against USM. 6:49 to play here in regulation. A defensive zone draw for the Wildcats to come. Face-off won by Notre Dame. Played off the back wall. Bryce Dahl from the left point. Wildcats get it back. McGregor sends it out to Els in the neutral zone. Freshman defender Bryce Dahl settles it down. Travis Pokel back to retrieve behind his own blue. Up to the right side to Poshak. Pokel back in his own end. Up to Poshak. Poshak gonna look to take this one end to end. Poshak down the left wing side on his off wing. Shields it away on his backhand. Tries to send it off the shoulder of Schrader. And a defensive zone draw to come here for the Wildcats. 28 saves on the night for Jack Schrader. 22 for his counterpart, Xander Roberts, down to our right. Face-off won by Notre Dame. George Wide will float this one in. Woods, Thundercloud, and Ringgold. Kehoe and Cox. Here's the senior forward, Kyler Ringgold, banks it on in. Near corner, and how is that an icing? Face-off, blocker side of Schrader once again. Won by Notre Dame. Stick save made from Jack into the far corner. And now Kehoe plays it far side. Here comes Marcus Thundercloud through center. Pushes it ahead for Woods. Woods slams on the brakes. Stutter steps around George Wide. Back for Woods, now to Kehoe. His shot blocked down in front, won't make its way to the cage. Ringgold was tied up on the near post. He may have had a look to get his stick on it, but he was tied up with the other 20, Michael McEntee. Roberts up through the neutral zone. Kennedy back on it. Notre Dame applying pressure quickly. And here's Bryce Dahl. Mann forces the turnover in the near corner. Now Malosi arrives at the scene. Under 5 minutes to go here in the final frame. Wildcats lead it 2-0. Mann and McGregor, the goal scorers tonight. Vogel keeps it alive, left side of the line. Now it's rounded up by Isaac Rentmister. Had 2 goals last year against the Wildcats on the forehand. Shot right shoulder, save from Schrader. Voss works the cycle, with Rentmister. Rentmister over to Gruber, they score. Isaac Rentmister finds Brendan Gruber, and it's a 2-1 hockey game now with 4:24 to go in the third. So at 12:36, it's Brendan Gruber from Isaac Rentmister. Gruber's 11th of the season for the sophomore. Restart at center ice. Tomes shakes it into the attacking end. Tomes pulls it through the defender. Over to Ells behind the cage. And it's swallowed up by Roberts. And a face-off to come in the Notre Dame end. Tritons win the draw. Polko sends it up to Budinger. Good job from McGregor to get on Budinger quickly. And a penalty call here against Notre Dame. 2 minutes interference, Michael McEntee. So USM a chance to regain the 2-goal lead as McEntee gets the gate at 13:01 of the third. Third interference call against Notre Dame tonight out of the 5 penalties they've taken. Face-off won by USM. Vogel, Cox on the blue line, McGregor, Woods, and Ringgold. Woods over to McGregor, a goal here in the third for number 11. Woods trying to send it diagonally to Ringgold. It was broken up by Rentmister. Good job by Cox to boot it into the near corner. And now a battle takes place. And it's spun back out through the neutral zone as Vogel's back to flag it down. USM calling for a change as they swap out personnel. Here's Poshak. Poshak, nifty move. Great job by Charlie Kehoe as Poshak tried to pull it between his legs, and Kehoe looked him right in the stomach. Delayed penalty call here. Wildcats have possession. So Malosi gets it. 2 minutes for charging. At 13:54. So power play over for USM. We'll skate 4 aside for 1 minute and 8 seconds, and then Notre Dame's going to go on an abbreviated power play in the late stages of the third. Hang on a sec. Shot from the point, Max McNeil sticked aside by Jack Schrader. Kehoe, Kennedy, Mann, and Egbali. As Kehoe gains the center red, and he'll dump it on in. Roberts comes out to play it. Egbali in on the forecheck. Egbali and Mann up front. Egbali spins away from pressure. Drops it back for Mann. Now up top to Kennedy. Banked on in behind the goal line. And how in the world do you call that? Oh my goodness. Egbali for high sticking with 2:23 left in the third. Oh my. So now it's a 4-on-3 advantage for Notre Dame. The scoreboard is lit up like a Christmas tree to our left. Notre Dame wins the draw. Here's Pokel, left point. Back to Poshak. Poshak, wrist shot blocked down. Loose in front. Net was knocked off, and it was sent high by Callan Budinger. So 2:11 left in the third here. 12 seconds left on the interference call to Max McNeil. Not Max McNeil, Michael McEntee, pardon me. And then there'll be a 5-on-3 for Notre Dame as the Wildcats win the draw and get the clear through center. Man enters the ice for USM. And Bill winds it up. 5-on-3 advantage for Notre Dame for 48 seconds. Still a minute 30 left on the Egbali penalty as well. Circling the high slot. Big save made by Schrader as it was Brendan Gruber. Back to Poshak. Wrist shot. Waffled away by Schrader once again. 1:32 to go here in the third. 5-on-3 advantage. Right leg save from Jack Schrader. 3 saves on that sequence and a clear for the Wildcats. 15 seconds left in the Molosi penalty. Here comes Poshak across the attacking line. Drifts over to the right wing. Back in the far corner. Gruber drops back for Poshak. Molosi out of the box. 5-on-4 for 40 seconds. Minute to go here. Left toe save, rebound, they score. Callan Budinger banks home the rebound on the power play with 59.3 in the third. Two-two hockey game with under a minute to go. Power play goal. Face-off back at center ice. McGregor sweeps it on in. Roberts comes out to play it. McGregor far side half wall. Takes a stick up high. Delayed penalty call against Notre Dame. USM heads on the power play with 45.3 to go in the third. It's a high stick against Nick Foss. And the Wildcats will use their timeout here with 45.3 to go. Be a minute timeout. And we come out of the timeout. USM starting on a fresh power play. 45.3 to go in the third period. Callan Budinger with the equalizer at 16:01. His goal coming on the power play. Wildcats send out Mann, Molosi, Egbali, Tomes, and Kehoe. Mann wins the draw. Kehoe top of the point. Tries to work it over to Tomes. Up into the Notre Dame bench. It was knocked off the stick of Bollinger, that should stay in the zone. And they're going to say it's outside.
Puck was in the zone.
And it's going to come outside. Man wins the draw. 36 seconds to go. Kehoe looking to lug it in the attacking end. Now we'll dump it on in. Puck caroms along the kick plate behind the goal line. Egbali in on the forecheck. Picked up by Notre Dame, and they'll get the clear through center. 20 seconds to go in regulation, all tied at 2. Wildcats on a 5-on-4 advantage. Here comes Ethan Mann. Mann down the left wing side. Cuts to the middle, across the attacking line. And it's broken up, sent the length of the ice by the Tritons. 4 seconds to go. Wildcats will eat away the clock. And folks, we are headed to overtime on this Saturday night from Cornerstone Ice Arena. The goal from Callan Budinger at 16:01 has forced overtime. We'll take a pause in the action. Be back in just a couple moments. We head to overtime. The Wildcats start on the power play. Minute 15 seconds left on the 2-minute high sticking call to Notre Dame's Nick Voss. Tomes, Egbali, Malosi, Mann, and Kehoe out on the man advantage, but Notre Dame wins the opening draw of overtime. Ethan Mann back in his own end will settle it down behind his own goal line. Man swings to the far side of the cage. Guides it over to Ethan Tomes. Back to Man, right wing side across the attacking line. Man will dump it behind the goal line. First one there is Michael McEntee for Notre Dame. Now a 3-on-2 battle in the near corner. Malosi comes out with it, over to Egbali, over to Man. Wrist shot blocked down by Poshak, and back out through center. Possible 2-on-1. Here comes Hunter Bill. Bill to Poshak, just slid off his stick behind the goal line. Now it's back through center. Man tripped up on the play by Poshak. No call made. 24 seconds left on the power play for USM here in the first minute of overtime. Charlie Kehoe leaves it for Man. Up to Egbali. Now Tomes tries to get past McEntee. Egbali squeezes it free to Tomes. Tomes with on the forehand. Shot blocked away by Max McNeil. Swatted at by Notre Dame. Man collects. Power play over for USM. We're back to 5 aside. Puck played back into the Wildcats' end. Played by the paddle of Schrader, and he'll hold on for no further play. 38 saves now for Jack Schrader. It was Callan Budinger with 59 seconds left in the third to tie the game at 2. Kennedy able to free it up to the near boards. Ringgold, Els, and McGregor out. Kennedy and Vogel on the back end. Els shovels it into the attacking end. Roberts comes out to play it. Now it's over to Els. Off angle shot off the side of the cage. Up into the protective netting. Actually above the protective netting and out of play. Roberts got a stick on it. So the faceoff will stay in the Notre Dame end here with 6:13 to go in overtime. Man takes a draw for USM, kicks it back to Egbali. Quick shot save made by Roberts. Scooped up by McEntee. McEntee peels away from Egbali. Over to Pokel. Now Pokel up through center. Knocked down by the stick of Kennedy and flung just in front of the USM bench. Kennedy ties it up now in front of the Notre Dame bench. And it works its way free to the Wildcats' Ben Malosi. Notre Dame attacking in the offensive end to our right. Malosi will shovel it up to Man. Man chips it up for Egbali. They're picked off by Bryce Eberhardt. Malosi with the active stick. Does a nice job. Now Kennedy trying to find Man, but a bobbling puck sent the length of the ice. And an icing call against the Wildcats. 5:26 to go in overtime. All tied at 2, and a defensive zone draw here for USM. It'll send out Els, Tomes, and McGregor. Kehoe and Cox on the blue line. Tomes and Budinger do the honors in the circle. Budinger wins it back. Wrist shot high and wide by Quinn Kozark. McGregor will try to bend it out through center. Now it's Els. Els lifts it to the red line, tapped down by McNeil. Quick pass up to Poshak. Poshak now takes it. Tomes trying to knock him off the puck. Poshak finding Kozark, blocked down. Save made by Schrader. It was Hunter Bill all alone in front. And Schrader once again at the top of the crease, able to make a big save here in the early minutes of overtime. 4:59 to go here. And Schrader keeps the game alive. But it looks like the Wildcats will head short-handed as Cox will sit in the box. So it's Cox for cross-checking and a minute timeout from Notre Dame. So the Wildcats will be short-handed here. 4:59 to go in overtime. USM sends out Ethan Mann, Ethan Tomes, Michael Vogel, and Charlie Kehoe on the kill. Actually, Ben Malosi comes for Mann. Notre Dame up on their feet as they go to work on the power play. Puck tied up in the far corner. 3-on-3 battle. Malosi kind of creeping on the outside, waiting to see what happens. And now he's hooked up right in front of the Notre Dame bench, and that's a penalty. Schrader to the bench for the extra attacker. We'll skate 4 aside. Callan Budinger, 2 minutes for hooking. At 3:22. Good job from Malosi. And the face-off just outside of the Notre Dame blue line. Actually, pardon me, all the way in the Notre Dame end. Malosi, Ringgold, Mann, and Vogel. 4-on-4 hockey. Malosi wins it back for Vogel. Behind the goal line, it's Malosi. Dodges pressure. Malosi out to Vogel. Vogel, wrist shot, punched away by Roberts. Near corner here. Malosi collects. Pass over to Mann, right side. Mann sauces it down low. On target, Roberts will pull it in and elect for a face-off. Notre Dame will swap out personnel. USM keeps the same 4 skaters on the ice. Puck free at the top of the crease. Ringgold had it for a second. Now it's Vogel's wrist shot redirected by Malosi just wide off the back glass. Mann comes down low behind the goal line. Takes it to the near side. Ethan Mann, already a goal here tonight. Over to Malosi, top of the right circle. His shot ricochets just wide, and it's flocked up by Brendan Poshak. Poshak through center. Down the right wing side, tries to dance around Vogel, gets to the middle, tripped up on the play as he pulled it to the backhand. And now it's going to be a 4-on-3 advantage for Notre Dame as Malosi goes to the box. We've seen 3 penalties called here in overtime. 4:14 in. Now Cox still has 48 seconds left in his penalty. Wildcats win the draw. Tomes hammers it the length of the ice. 4-on-3. And here through center, it's Michael McEntee. Good stick from Kehoe, knocks McEntee off the puck now. Rentmister shot, zips just wide. Oh, Isaac Rentmister in the high slot. Here comes Ethan Mann, pulls it free, possible 2-on-1. Mann looks to push the pace, saucer pass to Tomes. Good back pressure by Michael McEntee as Tomes loses his stick. And it looks like his stick is broken actually, grabs one from the bench. Now Mann forces the turnover. Mann gets it up to Tomes. Tomes will try to smack it into the attacking end. Cox is out of the box. We skate 4 aside for 18 seconds. And then Notre Dame's Callan Budinger will come out of the box. Mann up to Cox. Cox tries to settle it down at the blue line. 4-on-4 hockey, 2:45 to go here in overtime. A broken stick of Tomes that we saw earlier. And now a hand pass against USM. Face-off will come the length of the ice back in the defensive end. So 2:37 to go here in overtime. 52 seconds left on the Ben Malosi penalty. So the Tritons on the 5-on-4 advantage here in the later stages of overtime. Els, Egbali, Vogel, and Cox. Notre Dame should have a player on the ice. I don't know why they didn't. The penalty had expired. Now they finally get one. Boy, they went about 6 to 8 seconds where they played 4-on-4. I don't know if they just wanted to or what the reasoning behind that was. Here comes the streaky Poshak through center. Poshak gets across past Kennedy. Good back pressure from Peter Els. And now Kennedy able to send it the length of the ice. 21 seconds left in the Molosi penalty. 2:04 to go in overtime. Els, Egbali, Vogel, and Kennedy remain on the ice. Here goes Hunter Bill down the right wing side. Back for Poshak. Zips one off, redirected wide off the end glass. Molosi's up on his feet, and Egbali sends this the length of the ice. Back to full strength, minute 42 to go in overtime. Egbali, right side of the line, on his off wing. Pushed up against the end boards by Rentmister. Wiggles it free to Els. Els tried to center it to Molosi, was picked off by Poshak. Back behind the Notre Dame goal line. Through center, here comes Nick Voss. Trying to work his way around Michael Kennedy, picked up by Voss. Over to Rentmister. His shot zips just wide. Oh, Isaac Rentmister trying to beat Jack Schrader on the far side. Low blocker. Man now corrals in his defensive end. Pass up to McGregor. McGregor leaves for Mann. Dodges the hip of McEntee. Under a minute to go now in overtime. Mann collects behind the goal line. Centers it. Out to Kehoe. Wrist shot blocked down. Charlie gets it back. Here's his wrist shot. Shoots! Scores! Overtime winner! Charlie Kehoe with 45 seconds left. And the Wildcats come up to Ashwaubenon and come out with a 3-2 victory over Notre Dame. In dramatic fashion, senior captain Charlie Kehoe, his second goal of the season, just 45 seconds left in overtime, finishes it off. A 3-2 win for USM over Notre Dame. Wildcats improve to 13-1 on the season. Notre Dame drops to 10-3 as they drop back-to-back games on the weekend. Ethan Mann, Jack McGregor, and Charlie Kehoe, the goals here tonight. That'll do it here tonight, high above rinkside. USM 3, Notre Dame 2. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and so long.